What's up, everybody? Welcome to Casa Bonnie. It's your girl Bonnie Scotch, and I wanted to quickly bring you another recap for Rupaul's Drag Race All Stars 8. This is episode 6, and the name of this episode is Joan, the unauthorized rusical. Okay, so quickly before we get into the episode, I have some church announcements to make. I was on Jade and XD again this past week, so I'm going to leave the link in the description box so you guys can go ahead and check that episode out. The full episode is on patreon.com/jadeandxd, and I'm going to leave the 15-minute preview in the link as well. So let's go ahead and get right on into the episode. This is Joan, the unauthorized rusical, like I said before. And just a bit of context, RuPaul, of course, we know is an older queen, so we know that RuPaul is obsessed with Joan Crawford. She is from that era of the Joan Crawfords and the Lana Turners and the Lauren Bacalls and James Mansfields and, the different people like that. So I wasn't surprised to see a rusical about the legend Joan Crawford. So we're back in the workroom. We see that all of the girls pretty much unanimously chose Kahana's lipstick to be voted out. We're not surprised by this, and at this point, Kahana is feeling lucky and optimistic. By the way, I just wanted to comment on my lip really quick. This is like my Grace Jones slash Faye Dunaway-ish Joan Crawford mashup. You see the really harsh 80s makeup and contour, so I try to bring you some grace in the face and the fit and some Joan in the hair, okay, period. In the workroom, we have Jimbo with mixed emotions due to winning the snatch game, but this is the 6th lip sync that they lost, and they touch on how lip syncing is such a staple in the drag community, and it's what a lot of queens are known for. I mean, that's really the name of the game with drag queens. That's the gig. Lip syncs are what people pay for. So this is what it comes down to, is would we want to go to a Jimbo show? And from what we've been seeing, maybe not. And that's no shade to Jimbo, but we can only go on what we see on the TV, right? So I do feel a little bit bad for Jimbo, and they're breaking down. They say that they feel embarrassed, and I don't think I've ever seen Jimbo this way. I'm so used to seeing them so happy-go-lucky, so it was a little bit jarring to see that. Alexis says that she feels like Heidi was a real contender to maybe win this game. And the whole time Jimbo's talking and Alexis starts talking, we see that the camera is darting to Candy. So we know the producers are turd stirring once again. We already know that they're probably going to continue this little kerfuffle, however they can try to play that out. Jimbo makes a comment that they intend on holding up their alliance with Candy, whether or not Candy chooses to do the same, and they acknowledge that this may come back to bite them in the ass. So we will see. We have Candy commenting on, that stunt that Heidi pulled. I hope this hasn't planted seeds in people's minds and things like that. Here's the thing though, Candy. You planted this seed in people's minds. You didn't have to go blabbing your mouth about your strategy behind closed doors and saying what you were going to do. See, here's the thing. Let's just get into it really quick. Let's sidebar on strategy for All Stars, right? I think for me, say I was a contestant on this show, what I would do based on what I've seen on my TV screen, I would just watch what the girls are doing, listen, observe, see where the tides are going. If the tide is going this way, and this way happens to be, we are voting based on track record. I will get in line and say that I'm voting based on track record. If I see the tide is going another way, I'm going to get in line and go that way, in that direction. But I'm going to still keep my mouth shut about what I intend to do. So I think that Like in those first few weeks, you go based on track record because you don't want to be vicious. You don't want to put a target on your own back, right? There are certain players like Trinity the Tuck Taylor. Let's use her as an example. In her season of All Stars, she was making comments about how she wanted to, if she were to win the competition, she wanted to go up against somebody that she felt was competition. So there are some people who have this like holier than thou kind of mentality. They feel like they have to beat the best of the best. For me, it's literally a competition. We already are busting our asses to be here. You get what I'm saying? Like these crazy working schedule, standing in heels for 12 plus hours, 15 plus hours, whatever the schedule is. Why would I not make it easier on myself? Why would I not vote out my competition the minute that I have the chance? And, the thing is, lie for me, lie and explain later. Lie and justify later. That's what you have to do in a game like this. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be very careful about the things that you say. And Candy, you were the one who ruined your own game by talking shit behind closed doors to apparently more than one girl. That's wild. You were wildin'. You were the blabbermouth. So you can't blame Heidi for now questioning the alliance that you all formed. You, her, and Jimbo. How is Heidi the crazy one? How is Heidi like still like, Anyway, let's get off of that. My advice to future All Stars contestants, shut the hell up. Keep your mouth shut. See where the girls are going. See how they're voting. Get in line with that. And if you happen to be in the top and you vote off competition, it is what it is. And that's when they're going to know how you're coming. But anyway, I just think that you got to be smarter. And you got to be more strategic than that, even outside of the workroom. Don't ever think that as soon as you step foot in a hotel, whatever pertaining this competition, it's all about the competition, period. So we're back in the workroom. Joan Crawford pictures have taken the place of all of these RuPaul pictures that we're used to seeing in the workroom, okay? Ru tells the girls that they will be playing Joan at a different stage in her career. The choreographer is Adam Shankman. Adam Shankman has directed Hairspray, Rock of the Ages, Disenchanted. I did my own personal Googles, and apparently they dance in Janet Jackson and Paula Abdul music videos. So shout out to this man. He is a legend, and he looks great. I love the direction that he was giving the girls, and I don't know, I just liked his energy. I was just really enjoying seeing him at work, so that was really cool to see. We have Leland as the composer. I really enjoy Leland. I enjoy the way they produce the girls, and they give great direction, and they know how to give direction and instruction in a way that just pulls the best out of the queens. Now we're reminded that Candy went home on her season during the rusical, so the pressure is definitely on. Jimbo went home during their season for the rusical as well. I just wanted to add that rusicals are among my favorite episodes in RuPaul's Drag Race lore, along with Snatch Game. The rusicals are a lot of fun, and my personal favorite rusical was season 14 with Angeria, Willow Pill, Lady Camden, Bosco, Deja Sky. That was the best rusical for me. And I felt like Leland did an incredible job on that one as well. So I just wanted to say that. So the girls are trying to decide who gets what role. James chooses Mommy Dearest. Lala chooses the Mildred Pierce. Let's Go Joan, Vogue piece. Jimbo wants the Whatever Happened to Baby Jane role. Kahana wants the woman, the MGM Grand Joan, and Alexis says that this is Joan at her youngest and most beautiful. And I just wanted to make a side note about that because I personally don't feel that people are their most beautiful when they are their youngest. Sure, people are beautiful in youth, no doubt, but I feel like there are a lot of people who get more beautiful with age. I mean, not to throw myself out there for an example, but when I was younger, I always just felt like I was just a cute girl. And now that I'm getting older, I feel more beautiful. I feel gorgeous. I feel like a baddie. You know what I'm saying? Full disclosure, I'm 35. I'll be 36 next month. So that's what I mean by, in my youth. Like my late teens, I was still kind of awkward. So even my early 20s, it was still a little bit awkward for me. So I will just say that, you know, I want us to kind of like come away from the idea that only youth is associated with beauty. Like there is beauty in age as well. So that's something that I just want us to be more mindful of. We have Alexis as Faye Dunaway playing Mommy Dearest. Don't F with me, fellas. This is Boardroom Bitch Joan. There is a battle between Jessica and Candy for Faye Dunaway, the No More Wire Hangers role. Candy at this point kind of shrugs and says that she doesn't have any other option. She kind of settles herself deeper into the sofa. Immediately, Alexis comes with the rebuttal. What do you mean you don't have another option? So it was really interesting to see Alexis pipe up in this moment, but she wouldn't pipe up last week when it came time to defend Heidi. Interesting. Okay. They auditioned for the role, Candy and Jessica. From what they showed, I guess Candy did a better job. It still sounded, I don't know, I couldn't tell. It sounded a little thick-tongued to me, but I think Jessica was just stumbling on her words. I think with some practice, she could have gotten it. The girls go to lay down their vocals. In the next scene, we see that Adam Shankman is on stage with the girls, and it's really cool to see him work. He comments that he is glad to see some of the queens showed up in their heels, and this is a note for performers. If you are going to be showing up to rehearsal and you know you're going to wear heels on stage, go ahead and throw those heels on in rehearsal just to kind of block out the moves that you're doing and get comfortable being in heels for your performance. We're back in the workroom once again. The girls are getting ready. Jessica comments on how she relates to Joan in this moment, and she quotes that when you get to 40, you think that everything is over. And I just love this moment because, I feel like society discards people, women more specifically, after 40, and there's still so much power and so much life and vibrance. Like we've seen that in Rest Her Soul and Tina Turner. She had a full-fledged solo career after she parted with Ike. So I really like bringing this to the forefront. Like personally, all the friends that I have that have just turned 40 or they're in their 40s, they are in this new, sickening, amazing era in their life. And in a lot of instances, 40 can feel like this is just the start to my life. You know what I mean? And in Jessica's case, maybe she does feel like this is just another start for her, but she's already so legendary. So it's good to see her like bask in that, but also look forward to what she has to give. So I'm just loving that commentary. We learned that the girls are very excited for this runway, especially Lala Ree, because as a darker skinned queen, she loves seeing Grace Jones as a dark-skinned woman showing up in the media, and that was really a huge inspiration in her own personal drag. And I've heard this quite a bit from other, dark queens as well. So shout out to Grace Jones. This runway tonight, the night of 1,000 Grace Joneses, and it's about damn time. I don't understand how it is that we got the night of 1,000 J-Lo's before the night of 1,000 Grace Joneses. There's no shade to J-Lo, but I personally never felt like J-Lo was a fashion girl. She never gave like she was a look queen. She's known for performance. She's known for, giving like a 1-2 on stage. But yeah, I really feel like they had to dig deep for that J-Lo runway. I kind of felt bad for those girls. The only iconic or memorable J-Lo looks to me were the Versace Grammy dress, the green dress, And the white bandana with the rhinestones and the tank top with the white jeans that she wore to whatever award show that she was attending with Puff Daddy. See, I called him Puff Daddy and I aged myself again. Puff Daddy is P. Diddy. And yeah, they dated once upon a time. That was a thing. So anyway, let's move it along. It's about time for this Grace Jones moment. I love to see the homage. So, by the way, I screamed when the girls were like kind of, beating their faces. They're getting ready in the workroom and they start running off all of these Joan Crawford lines. Get me the axe. Don't fuck with me, fellas. This ain't my first rodeo. No more wire hangers ever. And then Lala goes, Precious, Precious, get your ass down here, Precious. I lost my shit. Shout out to Lala. She's everything. She is the voice of the season, like XD said. Rupaul is looking gorgeous on the main stage. This is a very Versace-esque type of number. This is a great color, beautiful hair. The accessories are just the right amount of extra and gaudy and ridiculous, and I just love to see it. Can I also say, like, it's really doing something for my soul to see Maddie as a main judge on this stage. It's just like really doing something for me. Shout out to Maddie, yo. Shout out to T.S. Madison. I love to see you on this main stage every week, okay? The Rusical MGM Joan, that is Kahana Montrese. I think that Kahana did a great job. This was a safe performance in my eyes. My only real commentary for Kahana is that she didn't really transform her look. It didn't really look like Joan Crawford to me. It looked more like Kahana. I would have liked to see a stronger personification of Joan Crawford. I'm not really sure how she could have done that, maybe with the makeup, with the eyebrows, with the lips. I'm not exactly sure, but that was my only real comment. I thought she nailed the choreography. And again, this was a safe performance for me. James Mansfield, I think they did a great job. I didn't expect a whole lot from them because they are not confident with choreography. So, I saw a few moments where I felt like they were thinking about the choreography and trying to remember the steps. And overall, I think they did a good job. This was one of those situations where everybody did so well, you're kind of splitting hairs. Candy did the No More Wire Hangers, Faye Dunaway. I thought that this was amazing. Candy did an incredible job. She sounded incredible. And the choreography was excellent. So this put Candy in the top for me, 10s across the boards. I have no notes for Candy. Jessica's Bring Me the Axe sounded great. The choreography and the personification of Joan was excellent. This was an A++ for me. This put Jessica in the top for me as well. Lala Ree with the Let's Go, Joan. That was everything for me. Side note, did anyone clock the beautiful brown-skinned woman with the locks? I don't know if it was locks or braids, but it was kind of like a finger wave swoop she had on one side, and she had like a low ponytail, and she just looked so gorgeous up there, and she was just serving, and I don't know, that just did something for my spirit. Like, yes, black woman, yes. Get to the RuPaul's Drag Race Gigiana. Absolutely. Okay, period. Lala was excellent. That was a 10 out of 10. It was a top for me. Great emoting with the face, great body, and this was a perfect role for Lala. Alexis did the This Ain't My First Rodeo, Faye Dunaway, and I think Alexis did a great job. She sounded great. Upon my first watch, I thought she could easily be put in the top, but upon my second watch, I thought that this was a very safe performance. It wasn't anything over the top that was like super memorable for me that would have tipped her over what Jessica and Candy did, in my opinion. Jimbo was the Hollywood Hag superstar from Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. This was a very low energy performance, and if I was voting, Jimbo would have been in the bottom. We are going to circle back to that in a second. Okay? For the runway, Night of 1000 Grace Joneses, we have Kahana, who looks like Tiana Taylor once again on this runway. Not only in the face, she did the rose look, which is a look from Grace Jones, but you know how Tiana Taylor is doing this a Rose in Harlem collaboration campaign with Nike, and it's like the red and black and white sneaker, that whole motif. Anyway, it looked very much like Tiana Taylor. I think it was a great look. I thought it was a great way to bring her own personality, her own showgirl-esque type of aesthetic to the Grace Jones. It was an interpretation. And I like to see when the girls do interpretations as opposed to straight up replicas. You have James Mansfield with the foxtails and the copper kind of lame leggings, the hoodie in the, had a hole in the back. And this was just like an ill-fitting look to me. The makeup was nice, but I know that James said that they lost some weight. They said that in the last episode, so I think that we are seeing that in their costumes and the fits that they brought to Drag Race. So unfortunately, this was a boot for me. We have Candy in the geometric primary colors. I think that Candy looks great, and the makeup on Candy is my absolute favorite part about this. It was like a really, really, really hard contour, like super hardcore 80s. It was awesome. We have Jessica Wilde with the purple satin dress. This was probably, I think this was my favorite look on the runway. She had like a fro hawk moment, and it was just so cute on her. And again, this was another interpretation. We have Lala, this was a classic Grace Jones look, but there was something about this that was missing for me, and I can't put my finger on what it is. I did laugh when Lala said she's walking the runway like no man can turn this pussy down. I did giggle at that. Alexis in this kind of caged saucer hat moment. This is a replica of a Grace Jones look, but it looks good. Jimbo has a hair hat. There's a black cage look as well. Another replica. I think this is just okay for Jimbo, but she looks pretty. We have Kahana getting criticism about the disconnect between her face and body, which kind of shocked me because I would have ushered Kahana along for safe, but she's in the bottom this week. James is in the bottom. For the runway look, the proportions are off according to Rupaul. And we have Candy and Jessica Wilde in the top this week. Kahana's third time in the bottom. The lip sync is Candy versus Angeria Paris Van Michaels. I love Angeria, okay? Don't get me wrong, but I don't personally feel as though Angeria is a lip sync assassin. Yeah, I just don't see it. If we were to bring back another lip sync assassin from season 14, I mean, I guess George's was too booked. I can see that. George's bucks. So I don't think Angeria is a lip sync assassin, but still, it was good to see her. The song is I'm Not Perfect, But I'm Perfect for You by Grace Jones, of course. We have Candy's tits, nipples. They have pasties, but they're still falling out of the bodysuit. And I've grown to not like when I see the girls, bodies falling out, like titties falling out. I don't want to see your wig coming off. I don't want to see your shoes coming off. I don't want to see your wig off unless you have another wig up under the one that you have. I've become very pageant in my way of judging, what the queens do, because I know that that's RuPaul's standard. If RuPaul doesn't want to see your wig and your shoes coming off and your stockings drooping low and whatever else, like, don't come on here looking a mess. Like, this is the art of female impersonation. Bitches' wigs don't be flying off their head. Bitches' titties don't be like falling out of their stuff. So if you're gonna come up here, like, hoist your stuff up, tape yourself in, like, it's a mess. It's kind of a mess. Anyway, Candy wins the lip sync. She wins $35K. It's well deserved. Well, I thought that Candy would win against Angeria. If it were somebody else, say like a Georges or Jasmine Kennedy, you know, Adita Ritz, Evie Oddly, Brooklyn Heights, you know, one of those girls, it would have been a different situation, I think. I think it could have very well been a different outcome. I could have even seen Shea Coulee getting up here and slaying a Grace Jones lip sync. So, anywho, Candy chose James to be eliminated, which was a gag for me. That gagged me and gooped me because, you know, all the girls claim that they're going off a track record. So, you know, technically, James was doing better because they were only in the bottom 2 times compared to Kahana's 3 times. Now, in Untucked, Kahana is feeling defeated. She's emotional. This is her 3rd time in the bottom, but she makes it a point to remind everybody that she won one challenge, and that was in the very beginning. She peaked the first episode, and that's pretty much been it. But I didn't even learn until this episode that Candy and Kahana are good friends. So I feel like Candy will use that and say that, you know, I couldn't vote against my friend and she had one win. James is definitely a threat to this game. James was doing good. Shout out to James Mansfield. I'm going to miss you in this competition. You definitely had a redemption from going home first in your season. This was quite a redemption. You came out here and you gave some great looks, some great performances. That was an incredible snatch game. And you also have a chance in the Fame Games. So let's talk about the Fame Games, right? The standout for me this week, once again, was Darian Lake. So far, Darian Lake is killing it for me in the Fame Games. I mean, she's my winner. We're going to have to see what James brings to the competition. We only have 6 queens left, so that's 6 weeks left. And let's just see where this goes, guys. So let me know how you feel about this episode. What did you think? How do you feel about Candy sending James home? Were you gagged and gooped like me? How do you feel like that is going to play over with the girls come next week? This is going to be very interesting. And we already have a preview of Kahana kind of breaking down because we're entering yet another acting challenge, and acting, as we know, is not their strong suit. So anyway, guys, if you have not already, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and let's chat. Let's talk about it, shall we? I'll see you guys for the next one. Peace.